Hey book friends, in this video I'm going to talk about the 6 books that I read in August. So I read 6 books in total and I'm very happy with that because last July I read 0 books. So I was in a reading slump, but now I'm glad I'm over it. Okay, anyway, so the first book that I read was The Good Lie by A.R. Torre. It's a mystery thriller and I really enjoyed it. Very good. I gave it 5 stars. The story is about this clinical psychologist who has patients who have tendencies to kill their spouses or hurt family members, stuff like that. And the other character is a defense attorney who stepped up pro bono, offered his services for free to defend the alleged killer of his son. So something happens and the psychiatrist and the defense attorney find their way, like their lives intertwine through this story. So there are like multiple stories in this big story, which that's why I really enjoyed this book, is because the execution was really nice. So when the twist finally came, or when I finally found out who done it, I was like, how did I not see that coming? Although I did get some hints about to the nature of the killer, I was still like shocked. And then something happens towards the end that literally got my heart pumping so hard that I was like reading on my Kindle, lying down, and I had to like sit up because I was like, oh, I'm so scared. Okay, so the second book that I read was another thriller, a domestic thriller called The Wives by Tarryn Fisher. And that book, okay, it was fun the first half. Okay, I was really compelled about this polygamous story between 3 wives and their husband. We are reading the story through the lens of the second wife, who is the legal wife. And okay, something happens towards the middle that got me like thinking my rating for it, because at first I was giving it like 5 stars in my head, but then it became lower and lower until the ending came. And the plot twist is a very lazy kind of plot twist. It's one of the tropes that you should never ever use in your thrillers. I did not like that book. Okay, the third book that I read was the book that got me into a reading slump, which is Fierce Kingdom. So if you've read past videos of mine, I've talked about Fierce Kingdom. Was very excited for it because it's about this son and his mom. They get stuck in a zoo during a live shooting. So I thought that was a very interesting premise, and as a new mom myself, I thought that I would find it really, interesting and action-packed, because that's how it was marketed. That kind of It's that kind of thriller. But then it's more of a literary fiction, which isn't bad, but that's not what I was looking for at the time, and that's why I went down that slump. And the reason why I didn't want to DNF it is because I was like having hopes for it to pick up the pace. The pacing was slow for me. The whole book spans 3 hours, and it basically took me July and a couple of days in August to finish it. So if you're in for a literary fiction surrounding motherhood and being a mom and other backstories, so like it's more of a character-driven story than a plot-driven one. And if you don't go into that book with the right expectations, you wouldn't enjoy it. Fourth book that I read was Comfort Me with Apples, which was really lyrical. Beautiful writing. It's a short horror book, so you can definitely read it in 2 or 3 hours. I read it for more, of course, because I can't read in one sitting anymore. Kids. Yeah, I think it's really good to go into it not knowing anything. But the basic premise is we have this woman who lives in this house, and her husband is out a lot, and she starts to wonder where he's going really. He says he goes out to go to work, but then she starts to wonder if it's really work. And it's strange because she lives in this perfect neighborhood, and her neighbors seem to like look at her in a way that she doesn't know if they're like afraid of her or if they're planning something against her, something like that. So I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a horror book. Better go in without reading any reviews because they might spoil you for something. And when you finally realize what the book is actually about, you'll be surprised because there were like clues all over the place and you just wasn't paying enough attention. Oh, okay. The fifth book that I read was Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris, and I really enjoyed this domestic thriller. So it's basically about a couple who have a seemingly perfect image, perfect marriage, but behind closed doors, it's not. And it really got me rooting for the main character, and I love this one side character. Like, I love her. Like, I would die for her. She's so adorable. What I enjoyed about this is you are in the moment where you are seeing this person being traumatized. At the same time, you feel traumatized for that person. However, the ending was a little bit anticlimactic. I would have preferred if the story ended at the second to the last or the penultimate chapter. Yeah. So, but it was a very enjoyable read as well, and I got scared multiple times. And the last book that I read was Normal People, and I would have to say Normal People by Sally Rooney. Took me a long time to finally pick it up. I know it's very hyped, and I know there are some people who are hesitant or they don't like Sally Rooney's writing because she doesn't use quotes in her books, in her dialogues. But you know what? I don't mind it. It's like what Taylor Swift said about her writing. It's like being inside someone's head. That's how it is. And it's just very beautiful writing. So it's not beautiful in a way that the words are very like lyrical or superfluous.
Superfluous.
Okay, I pronounced that right. It's like common words, words you hear every day. It's not even like a unique word that's like super beautiful. But the combination of the common words together in certain quotes, certain passages, it's just so beautiful, which just shows that you don't need to use big words. You just have to use it at the right time, at the right moment, with the right characters.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
I can't explain it exactly, but it's just like when I was reading it, I was like, I had to write beautiful on the page. Like literally, I like highlighted and I wrote the word beautiful because it was really, I loved it. Yeah, I was in that moment where I really cared about these two characters, though they were making very questionable and maybe poor decisions in their life. But when you think about them being teenagers, come on, all teenagers make those stupid decisions, especially if they have trauma. Yeah. So I did not explain what it's about, but basically the story is about normal people, Marian and Connell. I love them. Okay, so that's all for the books that I read in August. Thank you so much for watching, and comment down below your channel if you're a booktube channel, and I'll check you out, and most likely will subscribe to you because I'm looking for other people to talk to about books. What? To talk to about books. Huh? I want to look for people who I can talk to about books. Oh my god, that sentence. I'm looking for people who I can talk about books with. Okay, there we go. Alright, bye.